You're watching this video right now because something deep in your mind has been bothering you. A task you know you should do, but every time you think about it, your brain invents 1,000 excuses to do anything else. If you give me a few minutes, or however long this video lasts, I'll show you how to destroy procrastination once and for all. I know exactly how it feels. You think you're lazy, weak, or undisciplined. But the truth is, procrastination isn't about willpower. It's about a brain system that's out of balance. If I can have your full attention right now, I promise by the end, you'll walk away with a completely new relationship with difficult tasks, and you'll know how to rewire these patterns for good. Let's start by destroying the biggest lie you tell yourself. I procrastinate because I'm lazy. That's false. Procrastination isn't laziness, it's fear in disguise. Here's what's really happening in your brain. Inside your head, there's a region called the amygdala, programmed by millions of years of evolution to detect threats and keep you alive. The problem is, it can't tell the difference between facing a hungry lion or facing a deadline at work. For your amygdala, both are danger. So when you think about preparing that presentation, finishing that overdue project, or having that uncomfortable conversation, this ancient part of your brain screams, "Danger, run!" And your rational prefrontal cortex obeys. It begins to create excuses. I don't have time right now. I need to do more research. I'll do it when I feel inspired. But here's the truth no one tells you. Those excuses aren't logical. They're rationalizations, justifications for what your amygdala already decided: to escape. Your primitive brain has one mission: survival. Anything uncertain, uncomfortable, or potentially painful is seen as a threat, so it triggers your flight response. Avoiding that project doesn't mean you don't want success. It means a primal part of your brain is whispering, "What if you fail? What if you're not good enough? Better not to try." That's the first key idea of this video. Procrastination is a misfired defense mechanism. Your brain is trying to protect you from failure, judgment, or discomfort. But there's a scientific way to take control of this system, and that's what I'll show you in the next few minutes. To understand the neuroscience of procrastination, we need to talk about dopamine in a way you've probably never heard before. Dopamine isn't about pleasure, it's about motivation. It's the fuel that drives you to pursue goals, even when you resist. Your brain runs on two main dopamine systems. Phasic dopamine, those quick bursts that make you act impulsively, like clicking on a random video when you should be working. Tonic dopamine, the steady flow that keeps you focused from start to finish on a meaningful task. The problem? Procrastinators let phasic dopamine hijack tonic dopamine. It's like having a steady water flow of motivation, but someone keeps turning it off to use it for distractions. The good news? You can control which circuit stays active. And the first tool to do that is so simple it sounds almost silly, but when applied, it can change your life. Stop for a moment. Think about the task you've been avoiding. Now ask yourself honestly, what's the fear behind it? Fear of not being good enough? Fear of realizing you're not as smart as you thought? Fear of starting and not finishing? Fear of others' judgment? Name your fear. Write it down physically, on paper. That's important. Writing by hand activates a different part of the brain, pulling fear out of the abstract and making it concrete, something you can face. Why does this work? Because unnamed fears are like shadows on a wall. They look bigger than they are. By naming and externalizing them, you transfer the problem from the emotional part of the brain to the rational prefrontal cortex. But naming your fear is just one step. The next is learning how to fear the right thing. Most people fear action. I want you to fear inaction. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine, 6 months from now, you've done nothing about that task you've been avoiding. How do you feel? What opportunities have you missed? What version of yourself have you killed by not acting? Now imagine 3 years of the same procrastination. How does your life look? This exercise isn't to torture you, it's to rewire your decision-making system. Your brain needs to understand the real danger isn't trying and failing, it's never trying at all. Once you become more afraid of inaction than action, something powerful happens. Procrastination becomes more painful than doing the work. Now let's get practical. To break procrastination, your brain needs dopamine used correctly. Here are a few strategies. 1 task at a time. Don't write a list of 10 things. Focus on one difficult task per day. Set artificial deadlines. If you think you need 4 hours, give yourself 3. Pressure creates efficiency. Pick your reward beforehand. Choose something enjoyable you'll earn only after finishing the task. Remove distractions. Phone in another room, tabs closed, notifications off. Here's the trick. Rewards must be intentional, not automatic. Netflix, social media, or games aren't the problem, but they should be earned, not default habits. This way, both the work and the reward become more satisfying. But there's one hidden enemy left: perfectionism. Maybe you don't see yourself as a perfectionist, but have you ever thought, I don't have enough time right now, I need to be fully inspired, the environment isn't perfect yet? These are perfectionist excuses disguised as logic. The truth is, there's no perfect moment. There's only the moment you decide to start. Here's a hack: the 2-minute rule. Commit to just 2 minutes of the unpleasant task, with no pressure to do it well. Because the hardest part isn't doing it perfectly, it's starting. Once you break inertia, momentum takes over. Finally, the most important piece: your deeper motivation. What makes you get up and fight even on the hardest days? Maybe it's not disappointing your family, proving someone wrong, building a life your parents never had, or simply not reaching old age asking, what if I had tried? When you connect daily tasks to that deeper purpose, procrastination stops being an option. It becomes self-betrayal. So here's my challenge. Pick just one tool from this video and apply it in the next 24 hours. Not all of them, just one. And if this video shifts your perspective on procrastination, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because procrastination isn't weakness, and with the right tools, you can rewire it.